Greetings and salutations, everybody. I'm back after this few weeks hiatus that I decided to take for most of September. I hope you enjoyed those supercuts and compilations that I put up over those weeks of some of the previous franchises that I had revisited. And there will be more of those coming down the line here and there, but for today, hopping back in. So, as a quick update, and idea of what to expect going forward, I decided to still make most of these videos spoiler-free, but to more often go into more detail towards the end of those videos. So you can queue up a video, get an overall idea of the film, and either stop it there and check out the rest after you've watched the film, or if you've already seen the film, or you're not concerned with spoilers, you can still continue to watch the rest of it as it unfolds. So anyways, while I did check out a lot of different films and TV shows over the course of this hiatus, most recently I checked out Oddity from 2024. This was a new release advertised on Shudder, and the synopsis is as follows. A psychic medium attempts to uncover the truth behind her sister's murder at the site of the crime. Now, this is by the same writer and director as Caveat, one which has been in my queue for a long time. I think that movie came out like 6 years ago, and I still have yet to sit down and watch it. But if Oddity is any comparison to that, I think I definitely want to check it out now. Because as for Odyssey specifically, this one definitely delivered. I went in pretty much blind, having never seen a trailer for this one either. Because pretty much every week there's some new ad campaign from Shudder about some of their recent arrivals and acquisitions and everything. And honestly, when I looked at the poster, I actually thought it was Gwendolyn Christie. I was wrong on that. But anyways, as I started out saying, this film definitely delivered, even going in with as little as I knew about it. We have this couple who is fixing up this old manor of sorts. They barely even have cell phone reception in there. And the wife is setting a timer on her camera to kind of take these pictures because she's kind of trying to capture some ghostly apparitions, something that her sister is interested in too, which adds a nice level to this, which does come up later. But it is also like this place is so unfurnished and unfinished that while her husband is away working at night, the wife is staying there, sleeping inside of a tent inside this place, which adds another little layer to stuff. But anyways, a former patient of her husband's, a man with some mental health issues, which more specifics come out later as we get more detail about this husband and his work, suddenly is pounding on the door, stating that while he saw the wife go out to the car and get something and bring it back in, he says that he saw somebody sneak inside and wants to be let inside to protect her. I mean, he seems very worried. He does seem very genuine and believable, but the question still comes forward as why was he there at all, much less watching her? This place is kind of remote. Now, we do get a flash forward here, or a little time jump here, as the now deceased woman's twin sister is trying to get more information. Now, her twin sister is blind, has a very different aesthetic, has very, almost like bleached skin in a way, blonde hair, but she has these psychic powers involving being able to tell stuff about an object just by holding it, kind of like Jeff Goldblum's character in the movie Vibes, which was one of my really early reviews, so I'll link up a very cringe-worthy link to that one at the end of this video. But anyways, she works in this antique shop, and people bring things in, and she can tell them stuff about it. So as the brother-in-law visits, he brings this glass eye from one of the patients that he has, who's now deceased, since she likes those sorts of things. Well, the husband is still working on this manor. He has a new love interest since it's been a little while, and while he is away, his new love interest is left at the house with this blind psychic sister, who is visiting at a very inopportune time. And we slowly have this spooky mystery, unfold throughout these strange happenings and flashbacks. Now, some of what I really feel like this movie does right and why I feel it's worth checking out is, first off, there's not really a lot of gore. It has a very minor amount, and what it does have is very impactful. There's also not a lot of jump scares. We do get some little bits here and there, maybe a musical cue here and there, but it really doesn't rely on that to keep you on edge. It really builds a sense of tension and claustrophobia throughout, making it almost lean on the what if and what's next kind of going on in the back of your head versus something that's really in your face or something that just keeps jumping at you to try to make you scared. And finally, it's got a very slim runtime. It's only at a little bit over 90 minutes, so it's never padded or taking too long to get going, or really they just balanced everything perfectly in it. Now, along with all of that, the setting is great, being remote enough that somebody can't just simply run next door for help, but not so remote that everybody who ends up at this location is doomed. Having this idea of the camera on a timer, like I mentioned earlier, is a interesting way to reveal something spooky. Looking through old videos and pictures and seeing what it had captured. Plus that occasional click and pop out of nowhere as that camera decides to take a little picture of something. They just kind of build and give us these little nudges which make us feel more and more uneasy throughout, especially regarding this weird wooden doll kind of thing that the blind sister brings with her. It's just very creepy. But as the story unfolds, we do get some really cool twists about what happened behind this murder, who's responsible, and so on. And the way that the actors brought this one to screen, it is a nice, short, spooky mystery that is more than worth checking out. And speaking of checking out, here's the second part of this. Now, if you have already checked out the non-spoiler bits here are some quick spoiler-related items that I wanted to bring up. So if you have not seen this film yet, or you're worried about those spoilers, you can just come back here when you've seen it, or you can fast forward until this banner here comes down. So here we go. Now, there's not too much more that I wanted to add, but what I just wanted to say is the twist as far as how and why the wife was killed, I thought was really interesting. There were hints along the way that the husband was in on it, and but even if you caught all of those, the reveal was great, showing how they pull in this former patient who had overheard this plan for this murder, and it kind of makes his appearance at the beginning make a lot more sense. Even the setup of that hole in the floor and setting that phone as a nice little trap for the blind sister. But one thing that really stuck out that I did have kind of a hard time understanding was how the former inmate was killed. So I get that he was let out and they found a way to pin the murder on him and get him back, but it looked like his head was kind of bashed in there, and it seems like it would take a lot to explain that away. So I may have just missed something from that, maybe just some quick line of dialogue that explained his death and how that was kind of handled. Also, the golem, that big wooden monster thing. It would have been nice to have a little bit more about that. Just a bit, but at least it made for a spooky creature to be brought in. Those random shifts in how it was seated long before it actually gets up and is moving around is definitely unsettling. And finally, as a reminder about, I'd like to have had a reminder about that bell, that haunted bell. I was trying to remember what the deal was with that and what it would cause, like what the expectation was. But other than that, now that all this spoiler stuff is done, even with all that, I really enjoyed this one. It's currently available on Shudder, which I've mentioned several times. There's a lot of movies that I've covered from Shudder, so if it all sounds interesting, head on over to check it out. It's pretty cheap, and you can usually find a free trial as well. But anyways, that's all I have for this entry here. I hope adding a little bit more at the end here made these videos a little bit more interesting. I'm going to continue to work on them and try to get them up between 1 to 3 times a week. Welcome to October 1st. Enjoy the spooky season. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.